Right, so percentages should be another topic that you're thinking, yeah, I remember learning this last year. And it should be something, hopefully, that you have some confidence in. And again, those of you in my class last year, these notes are going to be super similar to the ones she has. I don't think it hurts to just go through the same examples again. So, percent is out of 100. Okay? So, the cent part tells you. There you go. Cent tells you percentile. Thank you. So, we use percentages to be able to compare quantities. The most common use for you would be test results, obviously. One test was out of 15, another test was out of 80. It's very hard to say, well, 13 out of 15, how does that compare to 75 out of 80? Which one did you actually do better in? So what we do is change them to be reflected as though they were both out of 100, and that enables us to compare them. Okay, so here we go. 164, yeah, lovely stuff. So writing an amount as a percentage. So you got 17 out of 21 in a test. You want to know your percentage? You would write 17, because that's the amount you've got, out of the total possible, which was 21 in this case, multiplied by 100. That's your method every single time. You're going to have your calculator available to you, so you will be able to use that. So if I want to write 56 as a percentage of 72, that's often how the questions are worded. We would literally write 56 divided by 72 multiplied 100. I should be hearing lots of bags opening if they're not out already, and calculators typing away. Pardon?
77.7.
77.7. Is it recurring?
Yeah.
So therefore that would be 77.8%. Unless you kept the recurring sign in there. Okay? Because remember the 7s after it are going to increase it up. Yes, let's get into the habit, ladies. If the question doesn't tell us, we're round to 3 significant figures. Okay, that's the most common rounding that we have in maths. Betty scored 22 out of 32 in her French test. What percentage did she get? So 22 out of 32 multiplied by 100.
68.7. Oh, mine, that's
so 68.8.
Why is that? No, the other one.
Okay, so 68.8%.
Oh,
Dylan shot 58 baskets and 41 of them went in. What percentages of his shots went in? What do I do here?
41 over 58. So it'll be 70.6 recurring, 8, 9.
Huh? I got a different answer.
Huh?
I got this.
What did you do? You did it out of 52, not 58.
Okay, I got it right then. So 70.6 recurring.
No, I got 24.
Where's the 8 come?
After the 6. After the 6. So I
That's wrong. 50. I mean, 7.
not 13. I mean, 40. Get us here. Wait.
Alright, so a big long list of things is recurring. So 70.7.
What's the answer?
To 3 significant figures. What was the matter, Annie?
What was the answer for 1?
77.8%.
Or 7 recurring.
Alright, are we understanding this? Yes? Is it plugging back to us?
Yes.
Great. Yep. Percentage of amount. So it might be that I will let Amy have 24% of the candy that's in the back of my room. She needs to know how many. So what we need to do is we need to find a percentage of an amount. So we take the percentage and divide it by 100. Now I said here, move the decimal point 2 places left. A lot of people, when I've been asking, last couple of days when I asked you how to find the percentage of something, people told me the number over 100. That is totally correct as well. So you either have it as a fraction or a decimal, whichever you prefer. You've got your calculators available to you, so it doesn't matter either way. And you're then going to multiply it by the value. So of in maths means to multiply. So the 40% would become 0.4. If you want to, you can type 0.40 so you understand that it's 40 multiplied by 300. As I said, if you would rather have 40 over 100 multiplied by 300, that is totally fine too. You will get the same answer. Yep. Thank you. With these kinds of questions, you need to look out to see if there's any units in the question. This one doesn't have any, it's just a straightforward 120. If it had kilograms, dollars, whatever, make sure you've got your units there as well. 56% of 820, and so Hannah FL, what would I do here?
56 over 100 times 820.
Lovely. 459.2. So if we're keeping to 3 sig big, that would be 459.
Percent?
No, a number. Now,
For the other one, we didn't do that. For the other one, we found the answer first and then what?
so this one we could have written 0.56 multiplied by 820. You get the same answer either way, Abby. Either one, whichever method you do that. Okay. So now this is something I want you to become very, very proficient at. That means good. Proficient means good. This is 56%. Okay. In maths, a lot of the time you can catch some of the errors you're making by looking at your answer and checking if it makes sense. Okay. 56%. Roughly, how much is that?
Half.
Real roughly.
Oh.
Half. Yes. 50%. It's close to 50%. Yes. What's half of 820?
410.
410. We're looking at 56%, so we're looking at more than half. So I've got 459. Does that look as though it could be right?
Yeah.
If I had made a mistake here and for somehow had 0.056, I would have had 45.9. We would have looked at that and gone, oh no, something's wrong. Okay? So what I would like you to get into the habit of doing is having a look at your answer and just double checking if it makes sense. You're not always going to catch errors. So for example, if you divide it by some wrong number, or if you put 830 instead of 820, you're not going to know for sure that you got them right or wrong. But if you miss a decimal point or something, you will notice very clearly. So please look at your answers. Now, I often comment, or I use the word dark mistakes, okay? I will pull you up on dark mistakes because they just don't make sense, okay? I'm not going to be annoyed that you get something wrong because you didn't know how to do it. It's you knew the method, you just inputted something incorrectly and didn't look at it to see if it makes sense, okay? Don't forget, if you're finding percentage of money, you should have 2 decimal places. So if you came up with 2.4 in your calculator, you would know that would be 2.40. If you had 1.2489, you can't have all of these decimal places in money. It would be 1.25 because we would round to 2 decimal places. Okay?
Is that money? So you put $.
Yeah. So we can put dollars, whatever symbol it is. Okay? As obviously it's not always going to be dollars. It could be pounds. It could be anything. Now, mental calculations. I was going to say something rude then.
What are you going to say?
I see. You lot would be good at this because you're all mental. I was kidding.
No, but it's transfer.
I'm not mental. You can not mental.
I suck at mental.
That's right. I shouldn't be still using words like this, so I really am.
Sorry, I saw it falling.
That offended. Right, so, mental calculations. You need to be, not me. This is another really good skill to have. Now, I may be assuming stuff here, but I quite like to shop. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, not that many people.
Oh, yes. I love to
What was the question?
Do you like to shop?
Yeah. What else? I've got some cash, I'm money.
Yeah, I look like a trash bag, but I like it.
Right, okay, so I love to have a little bit of shop. I especially love a discount.
Yeah.
I love a bit of discount. So if I'm out and I can see that someone's got 10% off it, I want to know how much I'm saving. Is it going to be a good amount? Is it not going to be? I've got enough cash to pay for it? Who knows? So this is a skill that comes into play quite a lot. The supermarkets, 5% discount day, yes? You'd be able to work out how much you're saving on your groceries mentally, okay? So if we're trying to find 10% of something, the speedy way of doing it is to divide that number by 10, because there are 10 lots of 10% in the whole amount, okay? There are 10 lots of 10% in 100. So you're going to divide that by 10. Quickest way of doing that is to move the decimal point one place to the left. So equally it's at the end here. We'd move it one place back. It would be 3.5. What's 10% of 475? 47.5. Of 640, 64.
I could say 0.0.
That would be
You
nice.
could if you wanted to, but you didn't have to. Okay? So if you're finding, it wouldn't be wrong, is what I'm saying to you. Okay? I wouldn't mark it wrong. If you're finding 10%, that's nice. Nice and easy. Now, if you wanted 20%, you might think, oh, I can't do that. You've got a couple of options. Either you recognise that there are 5 lots of 20% in 100, and you divide them out by 5. You may think, ooh, that's a bit hard. Don't want to do that. I'm super good at finding 10%. So I'm going to find 10% and say, well, if that's 10%, then 20% is going to be double that. Make sense?
Yeah.
So, find 10% first and then multiply by 2, or double. So, 20% of 35 is going to be 3.5 times 2, which is 7. Almost. So for 20% of 475 is going to be 47.5 times 2. That's a bit harder, but you've got your calcs to help you. Yep.
95.
95.
Dang it. But it's still 91.
95.
No,
120.
and 640, so it would be 64.
No, I definitely did it right. 47.5.
Also 95.
It would be 128.
Lovely, thanks.
Oh, it's up there.
Now, similar principle, the relationship between 10% and 5%. Well, if we found 10% first, we would divide it by 2. If you were trying to find 30%, you'd find 10% and then multiply by 3. You get the idea?
Can you do that with any number?
You can do that any number. Now,
What about 15?
okay, so 15%.
Oh, 2.5.
You could find 10%.
And then add 5.
You could find 5% and then add those two numbers together. Make sense?
Or
You could find 10%, multiply by 3, and then divide by 2. Okay? However you are comfortable getting to 15, go for gold. You could find 10, you could find 5, and then multiply the 5 by 3. Okay? Any way that you're getting to 15 from your values is totally fine. Emily?
So if it says divide by 20,
By 2.
if it says divide by, if it says find 20%, I'm like, okay, well, I know that 35 is 3.5. Will they say find 10% and then find 20%?
No, you need to know how to do that. Okay, so you just have to remember. But that, you could do that.
So then would I divide by 3? I mean, times by 3?
For what, sweetheart?
20%. No, because, like, how would you figure it out without doing 10% first?
For 20%? You could say, okay, well, how many lots of 20% are in 100%?
8? I was
5. So you could divide the number just by 5 if you wish, if you prefer that method.
No, just turn it on.
I just turn it on. It's a quick hot. It's just a quick blast.
I don't like sitting here. I prefer sitting under it so I can't do it.
So Emily, do you understand?
So you just times by 5.
No, times by 5, no, so you can't use divide by 5. What? I know what, I'm not sure what you're not understanding.
20%. Like, because you said.
So you're going to find 10% first. Can you find 10%? Yes.
Yeah.
And then you double it. Multiply that by 2.
Oh, okay.
Because you've only found 10% so far, yes? And you need 20%, so you're going to times it by 2.
Okay.
Yes? Do you get that? I thought you were asking me about a different method, the alternative method. No.
You're not
Okay,
like,
well,
Oh, did you?
I thought you were just
Oh, so you haven't said this yet, but shh, you probably have.
1 second. Now, sometimes you ask me a question that I just answered, and I get frustrated with you, don't I? Now, that could be because you're chatting when someone's asking me a question. So maybe try your real best to listen to all the questions that get asked, because maybe it's something you're going to think of later, okay? And then I won't have to get frustrated. And it's not just you, lots of people do it. Okay? So if it was Amber you were talking to, both of you need to pay attention. I don't know who you were talking to. Enough. Now.
the test is on just statistics.
Oh, I'm going to
You told Emily not to ask that question.
Can I
No, she was asking if
We've only got 10 minutes left for the whole school day. Right, okay. I'm going to keep going, do you know this? Because the hardest thing about percentages is you look at a question and you need to appreciate which one of these it is. Now, you've had a whole unit on this last year, bless you. So you have learned all of this in the past. I am just recapping everything that you learned last year. So I'm actually going to aim to recap everything and then set you a big bunch of questions on it. Because the skill that you're going to need to have is to look at a question and say, am I supposed to be finding a percentage of an amount? Am I supposed to be increasing or decreasing it? Am I supposed to be whatever? Okay? So that's what I'm going to plan to do. I'm going to go through as many of these notes as possible and then set you some questions on a big chunk of stuff. Right, so increasing, decreasing amount by a given percentage. So you're going to be essentially finding a bigger number or a smaller number than what you started off with. You're going to be finding a bigger number if you are increasing it. Now, you may be like, seriously, she's telling us that? Well, I've seen people find a percentage decrease and they've got a number bigger. So if you're trying to increase something, your answer has to be bigger than it started with. Okay, so that's the kind of thing that I'm saying. You look at your answer and does it make sense? If you're finding if you're decreasing something, it's going to be lower. Okay. Now, for each one of these questions, we're going to imagine that the original starting amount represents 100%. Okay? If you're going to increase it, you end up with more than 100%. If you decrease, it's going to be less. So, here is our worst case. So, increase $30 by 20%. So, starting percentage is 100. Always going to be 100. You're increasing by 20%. What percentage have we now got? 120%. Yes? Do we understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah? We're now going to find 120% of 30. Okay? The method of finding 120% is the same as it was for finding 5%. What did we do?
Divide 100 and
Divide by 100 and multiply by the value. Okay? So you've got a choice. Either you're going to say 1, 2, so it's going to be 1.2 times 30, or you're going to be saying 120 over 100 times 30. I don't mind which one you do,
Oh, it's $30.
but you get
That will be
36%. Is that more than we started with?
Yeah.
Looking good so far. At least it's in the right ballpark. Yes? Do we understand that method?
Yeah.
Now, You may have learnt in the past to find 20% and then add it on. Is there anyone thinking, yeah, that's what I used to do, that's what I've always done? Okay? I'd like you to transfer to this method. This method is going by doing this method is going to be heaps easier when we come to harder questions. Okay? So, do we understand the concept?
Yeah.
Increasing by 20%, we've now got 120%. Do it the same way as you've done all the others. Divide by 100, multiply by the value. Divide by 100, multiply by the value. Okay, next one. So we're increasing 500 by 8%. So starting percent was 100. New one is
600.
108.
I did 600 too.
Where did you get 600?
They saw the 500.
saw the 500.
Alright, what do we do now? We're going to do 1.08 multiplied by 500. Or 108 over 100 times by 500. Either way, you get the answer of 540. Is it more than we started? It's a good sign.
Is it dollars?
No, you didn't say that.
Oh.
This time we're decreasing. So starting that was 100.
90.
New percentage is
950.
90.
Oh, sorry.
It would be a dollar, right?
It would be 110.
500.
900.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah. Thank you.
If we're up there, wouldn't it be $540?
no, there's no dollar in that.
Because you're
It doesn't say dollar.
Oh, that one, the one before is.
Yeah, you're going to say dollars
90 over 100.
Pardon?
Would it be 90 over
Yeah, so you're going to do 0.9 or 90 over 100
times
times by 50.
45.
So either one, and this is the dollars because our question was dollars, so it's $45. Pretty easy, yes? Are we liking this method?
Really?
Okay, so we're doing our subtraction essentially before we start the question. Okay, so you're only working out what percentage is left. So decrease 1200 by 30%. So starting percent, same old 100. New percent is 70. So we're going to do 0.7 times 1200 or 70 over 100 times
800?
840.
Yes.
No units on this one, so we can just leave it at 840. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, I don't want to start this just yet. Right, so we're going to play a quick game. Grab a bit of scrap paper.
Wow.